Okay, we are on the independent practice for lesson 1.2. This is page 57. Challenge you to do the best job that you can on your own and then use the video to check answers or, of course, whenever you need a hint. Go ahead and move this up just a little bit so we can try and get as much into the, we can pretty much get all of 19 here. Perfect. All right, number 19, financial literacy. A store's balance sheet represents the amounts customers owe as negative numbers, and credits to customers' accounts as positive numbers. And then in this table here shows some customers and some balances, and some are negative and some are positive. A says write the opposite of each customer's balance. So in other words, take all these numbers and write their opposites. The opposite of negative 85 and 23 hundredths is positive 85 and 23 hundredths. The opposite of 20 and 44 hundredths is going to be negative 20 and 44 hundredths. The opposite of negative 116 and 33 hundredths is going to be positive 116 and 33 hundredths. The opposite of positive 13 and 50 hundredths or 5 tenths is going to be negative 13. And we can just leave this as 5 tenths, or we can write 50 hundredths. The opposite of negative 9 and 85 hundredths is going to be positive 9 and 85 hundredths. All right, question B. Mr. Juan wants to use his credit card to pay off the full amount that another customer owes. Which customer's balance does Mr. Juan have enough money to pay off? He has $13.50. He wants to pay off someone's bill. Can he pay off Stein's? He has 13 bucks. Can he pay off Stein's? No, not even close. Can he pay off Girardi's? No, not even close. Can he pay off Winter's? He can, because he has a $13.50 credit. Winter only owes right around 10 bucks. So Winter's the only person he can pay off. It does ask for the customer's name, so I'm not going to put a number. I'm going to put a name here. He can pay off Winter's balance. Question C reads, which customer's balance would be farthest from zero on a number line, and explain. So it's not asking for a positive, it's not asking for a negative, it's asking for the greatest absolute value. In other words, the greatest distance from zero. It's not Winter, his is only about 10 spaces from zero. It's not Juan's, because this is only about 14 spaces from zero. I'm looking for the greatest number here. And there's one number that's above 100, and that's Stein. So, and it does say explain, so I'm going to say Stein. And it says explain, and I'm going to use the terms absolute value. I'm going to say Stein because his balance of negative 116.33, and I'm going to use the term has the greatest absolute value. It's the only one over 100. If you write something like this, you'll be in good shape. All right, good job. We're done with number 19. Let's go ahead and move on to number 20. And this one can fit, I think I can fit 20 and 21 on this screen. Number 20, multi-step. Trina and Jesse went on a vacation to Hawaii. Trina went scuba diving and reached an elevation of negative 85 and 6/10 meters. The reason why it's negative is because when you go scuba diving, you go under the water. So remember that sea level is 0. So if you go swimming, you're below sea level. And it actually says that, which is below sea level. Jesse went hang gliding and reached an altitude of positive 87 and 9/10 meters, which is above sea level. So really, kind of think about it this way, if we wanted to do a little picture. We've got one person hang gliding, and I'm not sure I can draw a hang glider, but maybe I can kind of. That person's hang gliding above the ocean, and then the other person is going to be, this is going to be a hilarious picture because look at those fins. I'm pretty proud of that, actually. Look at that. The other person, and I need to draw big goggles on her because she's scuba diving. Scuba divers wear tanks on their backs. Anyway, the other person is swimming below the sea level. So it says, who is closer to the surface of the ocean? Now, they're both about 80-something meters away, but we just got to look at those two numbers. And we don't need to worry about the sign. We're just going to look for whichever one's closer to 0. 85 is 85, or is 87 closer to 0? Well, 85 is. So who is closer? It's going to be Trina. Because negative 85.6 is closer to 0 than positive 87.9. I know that's a tiny bit messy because, like I've told you in the past, it's kind of hard to write on a tablet. Trina, because negative 85.6 is closer to 0 than positive 87.9. All right, question B. Trina, remember Trina was the one that is swimming, wants to hang glide. So she already went swimming, scuba diving. Now she wants to go hang gliding. Trina wants to hang glide at the same number above meters. At the same number of meters above sea level as she scuba dived below sea level. So let's make a little note here. She was at negative 85.6 meters below. That's where she was. Now she wants to hang glide at the same number of meters above sea level as she scuba dives. So that's just the opposite of that. So she wants to be at positive 85.6. Will she fly higher than Jessie did? And the answer is no. Because, it says explain. No, because she wants to, it says she wants to, I'm just going to change it to glide. No, I won't be lazy. She wants to hang glide. Now what did it say? It said she wanted to hang glide at the opposite, or it said the same number. She wants to hang glide at the same numbers above sea level as she scuba dived below sea level. So she was scuba diving at negative 85.6, which means she wants to hang glide at positive 85.6. But then the question says, will she be higher than Jessie? And that's not higher than 87.9. So I need to write which is lower than, which is less than 87.9 meters. All right, we are on number 21, critical thinking. Carlos finds the absolute value of negative 5.3 and then finds the opposite of his answer. Jason finds the opposite of negative 5.3 and then finds the absolute value of his answer, whose final value is greater, and explain. A lot of kids say they're the same, but they're not. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through left to right what Carlos does, and then I'm going to go through left to right what Jason does. So C stands for Carlos, J stands for Jason. So let's start with Carlos. Carlos finds the absolute value of negative 5.3. And so what I do here is I put negative 5.3 inside absolute value signs. And what is that? Well, absolute value means distance from 0. How far away from 0 is negative 5.3? It's 5.3 spaces. And then, that's the first thing it did. And then right here it says, let's read this carefully. And then finds the opposite of its answer. Well, what's the opposite of positive 5.3? It is negative 5.3. So where does Carlos ends up? He ends up at negative 5.3. Now let's go to Jason. I'm going to switch highlighters here. Jason finds the opposite of negative 5.3. So let's do what Jason does. He starts with negative 5.3 and he finds the opposite of that. Well, what's the opposite of negative 5.3? It's positive 5.3. And let's go back to the highlighter here. And then finds the absolute value of his answer. Well, what is the absolute value? I'm going to use the symbols here. What's the absolute value of 5.3? 5.3 is 5.3 spaces away from 0. So Jason ends up with 5.3. So notice very carefully that Carlos ended up with negative 5.3. Jason ended up with positive 5.3. Whose value is greater? Jason. It says explain. I think I already did. So if you have some kind of an explanation like what I do where you show all your work, then that will be acceptable for the explanation. Jason ends up with the positive number, which means it's the greater value. All right, good job. We are done with page 57.